Tragedies with Will. As always, I am your host, Caroline Norton. Now let's get started. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about the different types of Shakespearean plays, right? We covered histories, we covered comedies, and that last one, what was it again? Oh, that's right, the Shakespearean tragedy. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But what exactly makes a Shakespearean tragedy? Well, if you were to ask a random person, they'd probably say death, and it seems a little morbid, but to be honest, they're not wrong. A lot of people die in Shakespearean tragedies. Now, I know that's a bummer, and you may be wondering, why on earth would people want to watch sad plays where people die? What is the point? Well, Shakespeare used the deaths of his characters to teach us lessons about how to treat one another and about life. Let's take a look at one of Shakespeare's most popular Shakespearean tragedies, Romeo and Juliet. Now, in this story of Romeo and Juliet, you have two competing families. You've got the Capulets and the Montagues, and they're at a constant battle with each other. In the opening prologue of Romeo and Juliet, the chorus says, "From ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean." And basically what they're saying there is, hey, these two families started this battle with each other because of something that happened way a long time ago. But now, today, they are still fighting this fight. Their civil hands are unclean with the blood that is being shed between these two houses. And each of these families has a child. On the Montague side, we have Romeo. And on the Capulet side, we have Juliet. And they are two young people who don't quite get why their families are fighting this hard. And they fall in love with each other, and they want to get married. That they know that their families are not gonna go for that, right? So they get married in secret, and trying to hide all of this from their families ultimately leads to the two of them taking their own lives. Now at the end of the show, the Prince of Verona comes to talk to the two families, and he is distraught because throughout all this fighting, he's actually lost a cousin too, so it's affecting him on a personal level. And he says to these two families, he's like, look at what your fighting has done. Go away from here and go tell the people of Verona what you've just witnessed and try and be better. And from that moment, these families resolve to no longer be at war. The story of Romeo and Juliet teaches us a lot of lessons. It teaches us that forgiveness and love are way more powerful than hate. It teaches us that we should be trying to forge strong relationships with one another instead of trying to tear each other down. And these are lessons that are really important to us now, still today. And this happens in all of Shakespeare's tragedies, right? We hear these stories of loss and of hate and of fighting and of jealousy. And at the end, we learn how all of this could have been avoided and what we should take into account going forward in our futures. This whole theme of people letting their emotions get the better of them, fighting and then losing their lives or the life of a loved one, and then ultimately learning their lesson, that is present throughout all of Shakespeare's tragedies. These tragic characters deal with a lot of really heavy emotions. They deal with hate, with love, with loss, with grief, with jealousy, all of these emotions that are so difficult to process, and they don't always do the best job of it. This is something that we struggle with today. You know, we all experience hate and love and jealousy. These are things that are common to us. What are some ways that you can think of that are healthy ways for you to process these emotions? For me, something that helps is journaling. Writing down my thoughts and my emotions and getting them out there, whether they're good or bad, to have them down on paper is kind of a release for me. And I thought maybe you guys would like to do that as well. So today, we're gonna make a journal together. Let's go. Now for this craft, you're gonna need a few things. First, you're gonna need a colorful piece of construction paper of your choice. Then you're gonna need 10 sheets of paper, either some copy paper from the printer, or you can even use lined notebook paper as well. Then you're gonna need a stapler and something fun to decorate with. Now, to get started, you're gonna take all of your pieces of either copy paper or notebook paper, and you're gonna put them on top of your piece of colorful construction paper, just like this. Make sure you get them all nice and even, and then we're gonna fold this in half, hamburger style. And push it down so we get a nice clean edge here. Beautiful. Then we're gonna take our stapler and we're gonna make 3 staples. One on each of the corners, and then one in the middle. And this is gonna act as the binding for our notebook. That way it doesn't come undone. And then we have a really awesome journal. It's super easy to make, and now you get to decorate it however you want. So I'm gonna decorate my journal, and then I'm gonna come back and show you guys, and we'll finish up this video, okay? And we're back. I have completed my super top secret journal, and I'm really excited with how it turned out. I hope you are excited with how yours turned out too. And use these. Use them to write down your thoughts, whether you are experiencing really great positive emotions or you're feeling some really strong sad or angry emotions. Write them down. That way you have a healthy way of dealing with what you're feeling. As always, if you would like to share with us a photo of the front of your journals, you can always do that by sending them to our email, info@summitplayerstheater.com, and we would love to see what you come up with. Until next time, have a good week, stay safe, and have fun making your journals. I'll see you next week for another Wednesdays with Will. Bye!